Welcome back, another fight card prediction. It's Will here, everybody. Hope you had a great weekend watching UFC 202. Just an unbelievable fight card. I did really well in my picks, 11-1, makes a change, which was nice. Cashed a lot of bets, came out with about £450 worth of profit, $626 worth of profit, so had a really good night. And then we had like McGregor and Diaz, great fight, back and forth, one of the best fights of the year for sure. But we're going to this card here. UFC On Fox 21, Maia versus Condit, and I must admit, coming off that card last week, this is a bit of a kind of downer because it's got pretty much the main card's alright, the prelims are not good. Looking forward to seeing some of the newcomers still coming in. Even some of the fights in the main card aren't entirely great, but it is what it is. And we get to see Anthony Pettis, one of my favourite fighters, in there as well, make his debut at 145, and the main event should be very enthralling as well. As always, follow the guys down below me. Dan Levy, Half the Battle, great, with his podcast breakdown, fighter interviews. Go check that out, please. Flying Brian, always got time for him, always retweets my stuff. I always really enjoy watching his content, always fantastic. Go check him out, give him a follow. Rockstar Z's absolutely cleaned up on bets at the weekend there. You should come follow him on here. He does fight predictions, and you can tail his bets on Carpertech as well. Had a great weekend. I think he won like 10 units. Huge weekend for him, so congratulations, Kyle. Really awesome seeing that. I love seeing guys making their money, and he was very confident getting into that card, and he absolutely delivered on it, so great to see. James Lynch, I watched a few of his videos on here regarding the newcomers. Great videos. If you get a chance, go check that out. Part and Shot podcast. As always, please go and check out Severe MMA. They did fantastic work last week over there in Ireland and over in Las Vegas. Got a great shirt here to support the guys. Always will do. And the UFC betting shots on Facebook. Just a great group of guys who like talking fights. So props to you guys. Getting into this card, we're going to start down in the middleweight division as we have two new UFC newcomers in Ryan James against Adam Hunter. Now this is your classic striker versus grappler, with Hunter being the striker, James being the grappler. He's got most of his wins via submission. What I seen from James was that he doesn't like getting hit. He's a bit older as well. He's in his mid-30s, came into MMA quite late, and very much looks to get the fight to the ground. So he'll use his punches to really get himself into the clinch, put you against the cage and take you down, and that's where he'll start to do his work. Whereas Adam Hunter, on the other hand, he's just coming off a victory over a UFC vet, Chris Dempsey, where he clipped him with a head kick. What I've seen from this guy is that he's very powerful, and he doesn't take an awful lot. He's got like that kind of Rumble power, but nowhere near as much power as what Rumble got. We've seen that the weekend. Touches you and you're out. He's got big power. Well, he had it on the regional scene. It'd be interesting to see how that translates to the UFC. But I like him in this matchup. I think he will try and I think that James will maybe try and punch his way in, get him against the cage, but I think Hunter's he's got that strength there where he can reverse it, put you against the cage and kind of hurt you and beat you up from there and wear you out. And he has that power where it doesn't take much to really hit you, and you will go out as well. So my pick's going to be Adam Hunter via, I'm going to go late first round TKO, but it could get sloppy and go into a decision, but I think that Hunter's got enough in him to win this fight, so my pick will be Hunter via TKO in round 1. Marlon Vera against Ning Guangyou. This was supposed to happen at UFC 202 last week, but Ning ate some contaminated meat that had clenbuterol in it, which is on the performance list, but because it was tainted meat, that it never really affected him for that here. I like the matchup here, but I like it for Marlon Vera. I think that Vera is the more dangerous fighter, and Ning is going to play into Vera's kind of game plan a little bit. I think he's going to look to put him against the cage or just take him down full stop. But Vera is very crafty down there, very good with submissions, transitions very well too, and he's just very dangerous off his back. Took his licks in the fight against David Grant. I thought he was a little bit unlucky in that fight with a few different things with it regarding the ref, and a couple other bits and pieces there. I just think overall he's the more athletic, better fighter, more ways to win the fight. So tempted to go with him via submission, kind of thinking decision. I'm going to go with a finish. I like finishes. I'm going to hope the trend of all the finishes last week continue into this one. So I'm going to go submission round number 2. Middleweight division, we have Gareth McLellan against Alessio de Chirico. is a guy that I actually really like. I was really impressed with him in his UFC debut against Bojan Velickovic, and I just liked how calm he was. He was quite calm for a UFC debut, really decent striking. Striking that's forever coming on. You can see that he's just a worker and a fighter in progress. I think it's a good fight for him to progress as well. I don't think McLellan's overall a talented fighter, but he is tough, he has heart, and he keeps on coming. But this is a big fight for him here, because he could get shifted out of the UFC possibly with this here, with a loss to Bartosz Fabinski, where he got taken down at will easily. Seen that fight with Bubba Bush, wasn't the greatest fight. Managed to find a finish though. Very dominant. Once if he gets on top of you and lands some shots, then he can really hurt you. And Blad, he just got hit with a huge head kick, and he was kind of out from there. I just like Chirico. I think he's got more upside to him than what Gareth McLellan really has, and I've been contemplating whether to go for a decision here. I actually think he can finish McLellan here, and I think Chirico, I don't know how I'm saying it, I think I'll put him in my DraftKings team. I think he's got a good chance of a win, a really good chance of a finish as well, so I'm going to pick him. I'm going to pick him by decision, but yeah, I see him winning that one. And the featured prelim fight on the UFC Fight Pass portion of this, it's Jeremy Kennedy against Alex Ricci, two guys making the UFC debuts, another two Canadian guys, which is good to see, because I think there hasn't been many coming in. We need more from the good people up there in Canada. Kennedy, he fights out of Thailand, I believe, and he's an 8-0 fighter, 8-0 record, and he's coming up to the lightweight division. He fought predominantly, I think, down at featherweight there. All around a decent fighter. Just nothing, he doesn't really excel in anything, but he's pretty decent in kind of every facet. But Alex Ricci, on the other hand, he's a kind of Muay Thai fighter. He fought a lot in Muay Thai before he went MMA. He's got himself a 10-3 record, coming in here on short notice after Josh Emmett pulled out last week. I think that just the well-roundedness of Jeremy Kennedy is going to be a little bit too much. I think he can put him against the cage and potentially take him down. I've been going, this to me is a 50-50 fight. I'm very kind of curious at this fight, and I've been looking. I watched some fights of both guys, and I just feel a little bit more confident in picking Kennedy, because I do think he's got the better overall game, where Ricci has he has the striking kind of advantage, I think, a little bit, but he did get clipped by Luis Felix with a kind of check right hook in that one. Robin Black was actually commentating that one, so he always learns stuff off Robin. I like Jeremy Kennedy, not overly confident, though I'm going to go by decision. Moving on to the Fox Sports 1 card, we have Shane Campbell against Felipe Silva. Watched tape on Felipe Silva yesterday and today. Must admit, not too bad. And against Shane Campbell here, he could be a guy that's pretty up and down. And to be fair, I mean, he's only lost to two good guys here. James Krause, an all-around good fighter, and Eric Koch on his comeback looked phenomenal, to be fair, and he used that hand speed and really hurt Shane Campbell. See, this is going to be a fight I think that will predominantly take place on the feet, and Shane Campbell is a kickboxing world champion. I think he had like a 68-9 record, so he's very adverse on the feet, very good footwork, and very clean striking. But I think Silva is probably got the more power. From what I've seen, he comes forward. He does get taken down a little bit easy, which is something that you really kind of have to keep your eye on. But I don't think Campbell will really go for that. I think this will stay on the feet predominantly. So again, another 50-50 fight. And some of the fights I've seen with Silva, at the times he's got put on his back, he's actually adjusted really well, and not been rushing in to look for the takedown, for the submissions, and just kind of working on putting like the triangle around the neck, around the body, and just doing it very slowly and methodically. And in that fight, I can't remember who it was against, but he landed a beautiful armbar submission there in the first round after getting taken down. As I say, I think if Shane Campbell was to have a better maybe game plan, he would maybe look for the takedown. I think he could have some success with it. Do I think he will? I don't. So I've been a little bit back and forth with this one as well. I think I'm going to pick Felipe Silva. I know he's coming in here against the UFC veteran in Campbell, who's been in for a couple of fights, 2 or 3 fights now, and looked okay. But he's got a quick turnaround after that knockout to Eric Koch, so I'm keeping an eye on Silva. I'm hoping he's an underdog. I might throw some money. I'm not big on throwing money on underdogs coming into the UFC. I did it last week with Marvin Vettori in rounds 1 or 2 because I've seen a lot more of him than other kind of guys that have come in. I think I got caught the week before. I know Devin Clark was one I got caught with at Sioux Falls, and there was a couple other ones. Matt Lopez was another one there, kind of against tougher guys. Maybe not Alex Nicholson. I thought he could have beat Nicholson, and he just got caught. Fair enough. But I'm going to pick Felipe Silva, and I'm going to be a very close decision. But it is a fight I'm really kind of back and forward on, but my pick will be Felipe Silva. Enrique Barzola against Kyle Bochniak. Like Bochniak in this fight. I think Barzola's coming down from 155. Bochniak made his UFC debut at UFC Boston earlier on in the year and gave Charles Rosa fits, and he came in there on very short notice. I loved the pace that he pushed considering how little time he had to prepare for that fight. He was beating Charles Rosa up in the ground on the feet very, very easily. Got some nice speed about him as well. Got taken down a little bit too easily. Yeah, overall liked his debut. I thought he was really, really good, to be honest with you. I thought he had a chance. Maybe if he had more time, he could have been one of those guys that come in, and beat Charles Rosa. But Enrique Barzola beat Horacio Gutierrez, who just got starched by Taruto in Utah there. So overall, he's kind of a decent grappler. He's probably got some of the best grappling that I've seen from that kind of show, the Tough Show. And that's what he'll probably look to do here, because I think that's his game. He'll need to be his game plan. Kind of strike to get him against the cage and take him down from there. I think once he get him there, he can have some success down there. But I think Bochniak's just he's all right off his back. He hit him with some nice elbows, hit Rosa with some nice elbows, and then managed to find his way back to his feet. I think he can do that in this one here, and I think he could possibly catch a submission as well. I'm going to go via decision. My pick will be Kyle Bochniak. Lightweight division, we have Chad Laprise against Thibault Gouti. Gouti, before he came into UFC, the footage I've seen him, I thought he was alright. Seeing him in there against Pacalan and Olivier Aubin-Mercier, to be fair to him, in the Aubin-Mercier fight, Mercier came out very, very slow, and he probably won that round in all honesty as well. But then his gas tank depleted and OAM was all over him, and then took him out in that one there. Chad Laprise, all he's going to do really is box this guy up, and he'll probably do it for 3 rounds. He could probably get a finish, because Gouti is a fighter who gasses out really, 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 really quickly, and he's getting a quick turnaround as well. I can't remember, did he not fight in Ottawa? So he's got himself a quick turnaround here. Big fight for Laprise, coming off 2 losses to Ross Pearson and Francisco Trinaldo. I just think he's going to box the ears off him all night. He's going to keep him in that jab and win probably by decision again. So my pick will be Chad Laprise via decision. And the main fight of the Fox Sports 1 card is Sam Alvey versus Kevin Casey. Sam Alvey, another guy who fights a lot. He fought in Ottawa. I think he fought in Sioux Falls where he beat Eric Spicely. I like him in this fight as well. Kevin Casey, I think he is a good fighter, but he just never puts anything together, and he always has really weird fights. He had that fight with Elvis Mataptic where I thought that he probably just won that one, but I wasn't really confident in the decision when the judges came with it. He's got that really good jiu-jitsu if he can find it there, but his gas tank depletes so quick. Alvey hits really hard, but I don't think he's overall the best grappler. I know he submitted Eric Spicely last time out, but he was put against the cage, and Spicely was looking for the takedown, just kind of left his neck out there, and opportunist Alvey just jumped on it and got him there. But I like Sam Alvey. He's got that big power. He looked for it. He's just a fun guy. He's a really great guy. He's on the UFC betting shorts page with us. Put up a good bet last week. I think it was only Nate Diaz that really slowed him down in that one. I like him in this one. I'm going to pick him via TKO. I'm going to pick him when Kevin Casey really starts to fall in the middle of the fight there. So second round TKO for Sam Alvey. Moving on to the main card, Jim Miller against Joe Lauzon, the rematch from UFC 155. That was a great fight, by the way. 2 very tough guys in a scrap back then, and they're both definitely on the kind of downside of their careers now. You can see that Jim Miller got himself a nice kind of morale boost in Victor Takanori Gomi, who is definitely on his way out. He shouldn't fight for the UFC again. He might be a chip if they go back to Japan early next year, but I can't see him sticking with the UFC. nice to see him pick up a win there. Joe Lauzon beat Diego Sanchez, absolutely starched him at UFC 200. I thought that fight would have been a lot closer. I thought Diego would grind him out. Joe Lauzon come out, hit him with a beautiful 1-2, and Diego Sanchez's chin looks like it's finally starting to kind of deteriorate a little bit, and just put him out there. He's been kind of going back and forth, win, loss, lose one, back and forth for the last, probably since the Iaquinta fight, I believe that was, or maybe the Michael Chiesa fight. So he's been going back and forward, winning and losing that fight. The first fight was a scrap where it went to the ground. There was blood everywhere. There was a big cut on the head, I think it was, of Joe Lauzon. But I say, he beat Chiesa, lost to Iaquinta, beat Gomi, lost to Dunham, beat Sanchez. So it's really kind of hard to kind of pick between the two of them. I think that on the feet, Joe Lauzon can clip Jim Miller and hurt him like he did Diego Sanchez. Sanchez beat Jim Miller before that UFC 196. Once it goes to the ground, it's really hard to... Both guys are really talented down there. It's just who's the tougher, grittier fight, and it's going to go back and forth again. I don't think it'll be as good a fight as the first one. I'm going to go with Joe Lauzon in this one. I think he's got the more chance of finishing on the feet than what Jim Miller has. Once it goes to the ground, it's kind of 50-50 down there. I'm going to pick Joe Lauzon to tough this one out via decision, split decision for Joe Lauzon. But I'll probably put him in some DraftKings teams because he probably has got more of a chance of finishing. But yeah, Lauzon is my pick. Women's strawweight division, Paige Vanzant against Bec Rawlings. Interesting fight for Vanzant to come back after that dismantling she got against Rose Namajunas. Bec Rawlings, I think she's starting to show a little bit more of her game. She's starting to show a little bit more on her feet. She's a very kind of bulky strawweight woman, kind of big one. She's not slight like your Namajunas or Vanzant or Kovalkovic. Quite a broad girl herself there. Had a nice performance against Seo Hee Ham down in Australia there and got a nice win. But Vanzant's going to be... I was thinking maybe to pick Bec Rawlings in this one, and I thought to myself, no, because I think Vanzant's really only got that one style. Hopefully she started to change up, because she couldn't use that against your Namajunas back in December, where she basically just punches to get you into a clinch and take you down and try and beat you up down there like she did against Herrig, against Kylene Curran. But I think she has definitely more chance of a finish as well. She'll look for the submissions. I think she will eventually find a takedown on Bec Rawlings. I think Rawlings might get to her feet up once or twice, but I think that Vanzant will repeat what she's doing and eventually just wear Rawlings out where she could get a submission. I'm going to go Paige Vanzant. It's hard to pick her to finish. I'm going to pick Paige Vanzant via decision. I want to pick a finish, but I just don't see it. I'm going to go Paige Vanzant via unanimous decision. Co-main event, Anthony Showtime Pettis against Charles Oliveira. Featherweight debut for Showtime. As all you will know if you've watched my previous videos, I'm pretty much a fanboy of Anthony Pettis. But now it's interesting to see. I never ever thought he was the biggest lightweight, so it's interesting to see him go down to featherweight now. I just think the guys that he fought, I thought the Alvarez fight was close. He could have possibly sneaked that one. He got outclassed by Edson Barboza when I saw him in April. Barboza was just too quick, leg kicks were too devastating, and he was just the first to the punch over Pettis there. And that made him come down here to 145. I think he's got a really good debut down here against Charles Oliveira, because I don't see Charles Oliveira, we all know where he's strongest at. He is strongest on the ground and taking it down there, and once he gets down there he's very dominant and he's very hard to get off. He will find a submission. Even if you get into a clinch, he will jump and grab your neck there. Hasn't got great wrestling. Pettis' takedown's alright. He faced good wrestlers in Alvarez and RDA and got taken down, but managed to find his way back to his feet. Oliveira hasn't got that game to really take him down. He'll maybe pull guard a few times. On the feet, it's just a clear whitewash, I think, for Anthony Pettis. So I can't see Oliveira really wanting to kind of hang with him up there. So he's going to have to look to put him against the cage, like Alvarez and RD did, and take him down and try and work the submissions. Pettis is decent on the ground himself. He's opportunistic with finishes down there. You've seen it against Melendez as well. He left his neck out there and took it. I think that Pettis has got a little bit too much in the feet, and I think he's Charles Oliveira's always a guy that I'm never sure about. I never bet him either because there's times when that guy can quit. We've seen it against Swanson. I think Holloway, we never seen much in that one. He didn't really want too much of Max Holloway. So I'm going to pick Anthony Pettis, and I'm going to pick via round 1 knockout. Be interesting to see if it goes into later rounds though, how the cardio shows up. This is the fight to maybe, if you're betting to watch until the weigh-ins, I'm going to do that. I really want to put a lot of money on Pettis straight, depending on what the odds are. But you have to wait until the weigh-ins in this one. I don't think you can pull the trigger until you see him, see what he's like. But interesting if the fight goes longer. I don't see it though. I think he can hit him up with leg kicks and really hurt Charles Oliveira as well. He's the flashier, more dynamic striker, just a better striker. I think he's the better fighter. Not showing any disrespect to Charles Oliveira, but I think this is as good as a debut at 145 as you could possibly get. But my pick's going to be TKO victory for Anthony Pettis in round 1. Goes into later rounds, it could become very, very close, but my pick's going to be Pettis round 1 TKO. Will be on my DraftKings team. And the main event of the night, we have a really interesting fight against Demian Maia and the natural born killer Carlos Condit. This was supposed to happen at UFC 202 as well, got moved to the week back, and that was scheduled for 3 rounds, and in that one I was leaning Demian Maia over 5 rounds. I've kind of went the other way, and I'm going to go with Carlos Condit in this one. I think that we'll know what Demian Maia is going to want to do. He's going to take this to the ground, and once he gets you down there, you are pretty much effed, you're fucked, because he's like a backpack. You cannot get him off. He will stick to you. We've seen that against Matt Brown. Matt Brown, no matter how much he moved, Maia moved to a superior position and just worked until he could find a way to submit him, and he did it. It was the same with Gunnar Nelson. Couldn't submit him because Nelson is an elite grappler himself, but he just stood on there, was on his back, put him inside control, and just kind of worked and just kind of beat him up and really dominated Gunnar Nelson in that one. On the feet, nothing much. He's got better over the years, but he's on par with Carlos Condit, no way. Carlos Condit, I think his game plan for this fight, he has to really use early on. I think he needs to use the kind of game plan like he did against Nick Diaz. Don't really get too close to Maia where he'll go for the takedown. Keep his back away from the cage. So a lot of movement, a lot of footwork, pitter-patter strikes. Look for his openings. And then once we get into round 3 and 4, I think he can really come on strong. Because I don't think Maia has the best gas tank in the world. So the game plan for Condit, stay off the cage, try and control the middle of the cage, and just kind of have the superior distance, kind of keep him there with the oblique kicks, the teeps if you can to the body, keep Maia away, and they will wear him down. And once it gets to 4 and 5, I think he becomes more dangerous than what Maia does. So my pick for that one is going to be Carlos Condit via TKO in round number 4, maybe early round number 5. I just like the game planning coming out of Jackson's. You know what they're like. We've seen it in the Nick Diaz fight. You can do that. Keep it distance, move, and just beat him up in the feet, and then go for the kill once he sees Maia slowing down. But he has to be very careful because Condit he hasn't got great takedown defense. Hendricks got him. I think Woodley maybe got him. GSP got him. So yeah, and it's interesting to see him come back after that fight with Robbie Lawler. But I am confident in Carlos Condit. I probably will bet him straight. It's pretty close to an even fight at the minute, so I'll probably bet him. Keep an eye on Capertech. I'll put that down below where you can check out all my picks and follow and track my bets down there. And if you want to do something like I did last week, then you might make some money. But my pick will be Carlos Condit, TKO round number 4. So, I mean, a shout out to all the guys down below. Phenomenal guys. Go follow them. Go check out their content because they can win you money. You can, if you're having a picking contest, they can help you. They may see different things than what I see. So go check them out. And, of course, the podcast, Talking Brawls, are in there as well. And shout out to UFC, Betting Sharks on Facebook, who are just great guys. So I'll be back for the Germany card. It'll be Arlovsky versus Barnett. You should get that from me next week. I'll maybe film it towards the end of the weekend. So until then, enjoy the fights when they come around. I'll see you soon.